Hey guys, Kyo Silvaria here. So I wanted to make this video in honor of Veterans Day, which is coming up. And so I wanted to tell you about this great man who I had in my life, who was a veteran of World War II. My great-grandfather, he was a soldier in World War II. He had left for the war when he was 18, and he entered World War II on D-Day, which was a major part of the war. I'm sure most of you know that. Anyways, he fought and served under General Patton, and I got a lot of amazing stories about that, about his time at the war. He had even told me about some of the concentration camps that he had saw, you know, and he hated it. I was very lucky to even hear of anything about the war from him, but, you know, once I found out that he was in the war, you know, I'm a very curious person. I asked him questions, and, you know, he told me about them. He told me about what he did in the war, and he hated it. He had told me once that he had badges from the war, and he said that he didn't have them anymore because his son, I believe it was my grandfather, had actually taken them when he was a little kid, and they got destroyed. And he wasn't mad about it, you know, he didn't care because he wasn't proud of what he did. You know, he looked at me and he said, when it came down to it, he was not proud of what he had done. Not because he wasn't proud for fighting for his country, because he was. He didn't feel proud for the fact that he went and had to kill other men who were fighting for the exact same thing that he was fighting for. You know, he was fighting for his country, but so were they. And he didn't like that. He didn't like knowing that he had taken them, their lives, all for, I don't know. He wasn't proud of it. But he wasn't, you know, he was a very amazing person. And, like, he told me about this one time. One part of that was in the war, about how there was this time he was laying down sleeping, and he woke up to his father standing over him. His father was in Connecticut at the time. And he woke up to his father shaking him and saying, "You need to get up, you need to move now." My grandfather didn't question it. He got up and he moved. And it was a good thing he did, because right as soon as he had moved, a bomb went off, right where he was laying. And, you know, he survived the war and got down to me and told me stories about it. And, you know, I loved him for what he had done and what we talked about. You know, he was a very great man, and even though he was born in a time where, you know, you didn't talk about sex, or people weren't supposed to be gay and all that stuff, he was really open-minded. I came out to him that I was bisexual, and he just smiled and was like, "Well, whatever makes you happy." He's like, "I don't hate you, I don't I know you don't choose that. You know, he is a very open-minded person. You know, and he had his jokes, and he was amazing. And I loved him. And about almost 3 years ago, he passed away. Which is another reason why I'm making this video, is because, you know, he was a veteran, and I remember hearing him when we would set off fireworks outside the house. He would wake up in the middle of the night freaking out, thinking that it was gunfire and that the Germans were there, and he was still affected by it. Three years, and it feels like it's been yesterday. He was a great man, and even though no one will know anything about him because he was just another soldier in another war, he still meant something to me. And I loved him. I still love him, and I struggle with the fact that he had died. You know, he did a lot for me. You know, and I was grateful to have him. I mean, he was my great-grandfather. Not a lot of people even know their great-grandparents. You know, a lot of my friends, their grandparents are his age, or was his age. You know, he was only 87 when he died, and, you know, this year he would have been 90. But that's why I'm making this video. Because Veterans Day is coming up, and so isn't Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is supposed to be a time where you're thankful for what you have, and be thankful for the people that are in your life, because you never know when you're going to lose them. You know, he was 87, and I didn't want to lose him. You know, to me, he was still pretty young. And I miss him so much. Just be thankful for them. And if you know someone that's a veteran, call them up. Say thank you. Appreciate them for being in your life. And, you know, anyone in your life, just go hug them and tell them how much you love them and how thankful you are for them, because you never know. 3 years and the pain still hurts. I am grateful to have known this wonderful man, and I could go on for hours telling you about him, but I only have 15 minutes. And even if I went on for hours, I'd never be able to express just how much this man meant to me. I'm gonna go because I'm getting way too emotional now, but I just wanted to share him with you because, you know, he was a veteran and he did fight for everyone. That's what Veteran Day is about, is to honor the veterans and the soldiers currently fighting in the war. You guys may not ever know him from what he did in the war, but I will. I will know the brave man that fought in the war, that had lost his leg in an accident, that raised my grandfather and was there for my mother and ultimately became my best friend. Just be thankful for everyone in your life, because every second is important. Just appreciate it. I'm gonna go now, so I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.